and giving us some vibe and mood. Hey everyone, welcome to Dope People, Real Talk with Cannabis Pioneers. Dope People is a digital series featuring real talk with people we've met along the way in the cannabis industry that we think are doing good and setting the gold standard. This is a live recording, so thank you everyone who's joining us on this Zoom webinar as well as our YouTube live channel. My name is Lulu. I am the executive producer for this show and co-host. Joining me is Jacoby Holland. Welcome back, Jacoby.
What's up, guys? Had to take a week off, but I'm back like I never left.
And also Peter Mercado, our content strategist and the LexisNexis of our group for all things cannabis. How's it going, Peter?
Great.
And what informational tidbits do you have for us this week?
So this week I'm gonna start with the science. There's a really good paper that came out in the journal Nature, and it's the first paper to show synergistic effects between terpenes, essential oils, and cannabinoid agonist. And then they were able to show behavioral effects, synergistic behavioral effects, which is the first time that's ever been done. There have been some things in cells, in vitro, as scientists like to say, but this is kind of the first study where they were able to show in animals some behavioral effects, some synergistic behavioral effects with terpenes and cannabinoid receptor agonism. One thing to note is it wasn't just cannabinoid receptor agonism, it was adenosine receptors, which are targeted with drugs like coffee and such. So it's a major step forward in the field for understanding how the entourage effects is working throughout the body. Granted, there are some caveats about their methodology and things like that, but it's really cool and exciting. And if you guys want, I can do a deep dive on that paper. But shifting focus on the national front, Virginia was the first country or state, in the South to fully legalize recreational marijuana. Ralph Northam, the governor of Virginia, signed that bill earlier this week. So that's great news. On the cultural front, the NFL has allowed players for the first time to consume cannabis without fear in the off season. It's a great step forward for the NFL and for athletes in general. Whether they're going to allow sponsorships or things of that nature is still to be determined, but it's a great news for the players, as cannabis has been known or has been found to help with a lot of the effects of traumatic brain injury and things of the sort, and just chronic pain. So huge wins on multiple fronts, on the science, on the culture, and with national legalization. So it was a big week. But with that, I'll wrap it up. And if you guys want a deep dive, hit us up in the comments and let us know.
I think we're kind of hitting that tipping point where we're actually moving past that tipping point. It's happening. And I think New York legalization is actually going to start the tip for global legalization. So thanks, Peter, for that. This is our last session for our April series. It's a series that hits close to our hearts. We are featuring folks that started in the underground market and transitioned successfully to the legal market. So tonight, I'm very, very honored to introduce Uncle Damien Posey from the Bay Area and the executive family member of High Purpose Lifestyle. Uncle Damien, would you mind turning on your camera and your video? There he is. Oh, we need the one more thing, audio.
Yeah, you're still muted.
Audio.
That's like the phrase of the last year.
Oh man, you got to be able to hear my people, my beautiful
What's
people.
good?
What's up? How y'all doing?
We're great.
Good, we're good.
That's what's up. What's up? Appreciate y'all having me on. Hey Lulu, how you doing?
Hey, Uncle Damien.
Shout out to the whole team.
Happy to have you. I first heard of you when someone showed me the work that you're doing with the homeless in San Francisco. You're very well known as a community builder in San Francisco. You have so many programs that uplift people through community action and also violence prevention. I know you are a award-winning mentor and speaker under Uncle Damien Speaks, and your non-for-profit Us for Us Bay Area is something that is pretty amazing. I lived in San Francisco in 1999 to 2010 when there was still a lot of community involvement, a lot of action. And I think you're one of the legacy folks that still, you know, walk the talk, because there's not very much of that happening in the Bay Area. So I'm super, super stoked to feature you tonight.
You didn't want to run across me in '99 though. I was a different person back then.
But before we talk about how you're helping to end gang violence, how you're helping troubled youth, how you're helping the homeless, and how you're helping folks coming out of prison re-enter successfully into society, let's talk about what you were doing in the cannabis game. How did it all start for you?
Well, as far as the cannabis game, like you said, you know, I was part of what some call the legacy market or the traditional market or the black market or whatever you want to call it. My mother had me when she was 16 years old. You know, I never knew my father, kind of, you know, typical story growing up, you know. So it was rough. It was a struggle, man. Definitely stood in welfare lines for a long time to get the free government cheese and whatnot. So when I was around 11 or 12, I felt like, hey, man, I need to try to, like, you know, make my own money, man, try to do something. And, you know, when you're that age, when you're that young, you know, cannabis is one of the things, you know, that you can kind of get some access to. Couldn't get access to maybe some of the harder drugs, or at the time, you know, that's what it was called. You know, so, you know, I started selling weed at a young age, man, to try to support myself, support my family, and do a few other things. So, you know, I'm 42 and I don't look it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's been some time since I was 11 years old. And, you know, throughout that process, I caught several cannabis cases, you know, throughout my younger years as a young man and a young adult, you know, which ultimately led to me being sentenced to 120 months in federal prison, which is 10 years. You know, I did that. And on that journey, I was blessed to have some enlightenment, completely change my life, and be out now back in the community, giving back, like you said. You know, I'm honored and humbled to be able to do all of those things, to be an award-winning mentor, mediator, and you know, executive director of Us for Us, which is a phenomenal organization, not because of me, but because of the people that volunteer and come out, and the youth that wear their heart on their sleeves for the people. You know, I'm just, you know, a loud dude running around connecting the dots, man, but it's the young people and it's the volunteers and the individuals, you know, who are really, really pushing it forward. And in that vein, we all know, you know, how things progressed in the legalization of cannabis. And, you know, me being a community leader, you know, the social equity program was brought to me. And I'm gonna be honest, you know, I didn't think, you know, we candid, we on Zoom, you know, I didn't think that people of color were going to be able to have these opportunities, even though it was becoming legal. Just because things are illegal, the barriers be so high to, you know, BIPOC people, you know what I mean, back indigenous people of color, you know, for certain things, or anyone who has a certain lower tax bracket, you know, because, you know, if you're poor or white, you might as well be black in rich people's eyes, in my opinion. But, you know, they really put it out there to kind of level the playing field. And, you know, I took advantage of it at the advice of some very amazing individuals, you know, who I trusted, and signed up for the social equity program. And I'm a verified social equity applicant. I was honored to attend Oaksterdam University. You know, I didn't go to college. I went to penitentiary, but I went to Oaksterdam University. So I rep it like it's a real college, you know. You know, everybody else be repping their school with their color. That's my school colors, Oaksterdam, baby. You know, we need to get a basketball team or something. But you know, so that opportunity presented itself, and me have had the privilege to work at several different nonprofits throughout my time being home. I see how hard it is struggling, raising funds for certain things. So, you know, I changed my life, but that hustle mentality is still in me. You know, I'm still dude from the streets, putting on for the people, for the real community, for the legacy market. So, you know, I put two and two together and, you know, made it happen, man, created high purpose, man, a brand for the people. You know what I mean? The give back buds, getting high with a purpose.
Yo, I just got
explained it.
I gotta say, I'm an Oaksterdam alum too. Shout out.
Hey, gang, gang. You know what I'm talking about? That's
You
what
know.
I'm talking about.
I did their
Me
first
too.
one
in
in
the
New
house.
York.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Me
about.
too. I did mine.
Okay, we
I did
linked
mine.
up.
Yeah, me too. 10 years ago in San Francisco, or in San Francisco
In
and Oakland.
Oakland, yeah.
So we're all
We-
Oaksterdam alumni.
We need to get us like some type of fraternity or something going on here. I think they got something like that. They got the alum. I got to get more active, you know. Yeah, but that's how it started. In the, you know, the legal market and the traditional market per se. You know, I started selling cannabis when I was like 11, 12 years old. And then now here I am with one of the best brands, if you're asking me, you know what I mean? In the industry, man, really giving back to the people, really putting on, you know, for education. If you guys look at my page, High Purpose Lifestyle, you know, I'm pushing education heavy. It's not about just smoking weed, man. It's all inclusive, man. Educating yourself about it, because I do mentor young people, you know, and I don't want to get it confused and everything. So it's like, you know, everything you know, I push and preach everything in moderation, everything education around everything. You know, who am I to knock anybody? You know, but whatever you do, regardless if it's, you know, if you're going to be lifting weights or you're going to be, you know, you're going to be a chef, man, educate yourself about it. You know what I mean? If you're going to take up a diet and start taking new vitamins, man, learn about those vitamins. Educate yourself about everything you're doing, even cannabis. You know what I mean? You got to know what's going in it. Different THC levels hit people differently. Different terp levels hit people differently. You know, we all alum. We know, we went to school. We know they taught us. You know what I'm saying? So,
Joe.
and that was one of the things that was important for me, because it couldn't be like, oh, I'm just saying this. I'm like, no, bro, I went to school to learn about it, because that's how serious I am. Because, you know, we know it's becoming legal, but it's still risque. Certain places I had to explain to my mom, you know, because she came from that old addict. She was brainwashed like everyone else, you know. I encourage everyone to watch Grass is Greener, get you some education around the laws and the hypocrisy and the demonization of this beautiful plant, you know, to really get the facts and understand. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it could be for everybody, you know, but different things for different people, you know. But
Yeah.
like I said, everything in moderation. Like Cat Williams said, you take too many aspirin, that'll be your last headache. But you know how many people have died from smoking cannabis or doing anything around cannabis? Do you know? Throw it up, baby. That Oaksterdam, zero. And that's why I created violence prevention. That's my new strain dropping, but we'll talk about that later, man. You know.
So I want to talk about the company, the brand,
Let's talk about it.
Things you do in the community. But before we do,
Mm-hmm.
I want to just spend a little bit of time understanding who you are and how you actually change your mindset and change your ways. So like 10 years is no joke. I can't even begin to fathom what you went through. And it sounds like it was all for marijuana related stuff.
No, it wasn't all for cannabis, but they see, the thing about it is, they use the cannabis to lock down the other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I went for a 922G, ex-felon possession of a firearm, you know what I mean? A discharge of a firearm in a public place. But it was, I had a couple bags of weed, definitely for personal consumption. You can see it, but then they were like, oh, he's got guns and drugs for sale. And woo, woo, woo. So they used the cannabis to really try to seal the deal on the case to try to give me more time and all that stuff. But now back in 2001, if cannabis would have been legalized like it is now, they wouldn't have been able to do that, but they did. And previous to that, I had several nonviolent marijuana cases that they tried to use to like bolster my record and stuff of that nature, you know, make it seem like I was a really bad guy, you know what I mean, for indulging in cannabis, which I definitely was not, obviously.
Right. So I imagine that a lot of people spend that time, and there's a lot of different ways you can come out. You can go many different paths. Can you talk to us a little bit about what changed in your mind in that 10 years, or when you came out, what was your perspective? Because you said you're a different person from 99, right? Like,
I am.
How did you become a different person? In what ways?
So a few different things happened with me in my enlightenment. One being my daughter, who I love very much. You know, and when she was born in 99, 98 or 99, my bad, terrible dad. She'll be 22 this year. You know, I was still, you know, brainwashed by some of the things I learned in the community that were not helpful, but were harmful to my mental. You know, that's one thing that I learned while I was in prison, that I had to unlearn a lot of the things that I learned. Just like with the cannabis industry, all of the lies that were told to our parents and grandparents, who may think what we're doing is crazy because they think this is devil's grass or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, they learn those things. We learn those things. We have to unlearn those things and learn the truth. So same thing happened with me. So I wasn't the best father initially to my daughter, you know what I mean? But I learned how to be a better dad, you know? So as I was making my transition, I saw a picture of her and she looked just like me. And it kind of hit me like, this is my responsibility. And I need to really, like, you know what I mean? So that was one of the things. Another one of the things is me seeing the influence I had on my peers and the younger people that were around me. You know, I don't claim to be all that. I wasn't a kingpin like Rick Ross and none of that stuff, but I was influential in my city, you know what I mean, in my neighborhood and around some certain things. So some of the things that I did, other people did from watching me, you know what I mean, or trying to be like me. I've even went as far as taught people how to do some bad things that I'm not proud of today. But understanding that, and I realized, and I started thinking about myself and my legacy and my true impact on this world, because we all have an impact on this world, whether you believe it or not. You guys chose to do this, and this will be part of your legacy, part of your impact on the world, trying to make it better. But at that time, I had done nothing to make the world better. You know what I mean? So unless you like a terrible, terrible person like Genghis Khan, nobody will remember you for being bad. You know what I'm saying? But they remember you for being good, and you will help other people be good. So I started thinking about myself and my legacy and how I could positively affect and influence the people around me. I have such a deep love for people in general. And once I found the love for myself, which the Nation of Islam helped me find love for myself, being a Black man. And once, you know, you find that out, then you want to help other people. So, you know, I was a leader, and I was like, well, either I'm going to lead people to good or to bad. And so many of my friends kept coming into the prison and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, like, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever been to jail, but like, you know, when you go to jail and you see your friends, you're like, hey, what's up, man? Woman, I seen a lot of that, but I used to be thinking like, man, why are we happy, man? We locked up. This shit is terrible. You know what I'm saying? We got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? We got to stand up and count every day at 4 o'clock and be counted like cattle. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is not cool. We should not be happy about this. Even though, you know, you happy to see your friend there alive, you haven't seen them around, whatever, but we still in jail. Like, this shit's not cool. You know what I mean? So I started, you know, I was blessed to work with the city of Lompoc to create a program called Start Taking Alternative Routes Today, where we convinced the city of Lompoc to bring the kids from like the Boys and Girls Club, or more like the juvenile halls, the ranches, group homes and stuff, for me to talk to them, you know, kind of like scared straight, but not so scared. You know what I mean? But we were just giving them some real talk. Some of the stuff got scary. You know, we created a panel with some other individuals like myself on there. And, you know, we were blessed to have an impact on the city and on the youth. You know, I'm still in contact with some of the young people, some of the parents, you know, that I kept in correspondence with, help, you know, guide, mentor the young people from prison, you know, that were in that city, you know, through high school and through some problems, stuff of that nature, to the point to where, you know, they had gave me an award for working with the youth while I was in prison from the city of Lompoc and the prison in Lompoc USP. So those were some of the things, just realize my daughter, and then realizing what I was capable of doing on this earth, and how I wanted to leave it, you know. So that kind of like, you know, sparked the change in me, you know. To answer your question, I could talk forever.
No, that totally does. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Us for Us Bay Area? That, because, you know, when I'm coming to the Bay in about a month, I'm going to be volunteering for your
Yes, you are.
organization. So,
yes, you are, and everyone else on here too as well. So Us for Us is a brainchild of mine, of the people, you know, the community, young people that, you know, I work with. Like I said, I've been blessed to work at several different nonprofits, you know, but, you know, everybody has their own agenda. And like I said, I had started doing this work even before I left prison. I was in Lompoc doing a START program. And then I volunteered to go to a residential drug program for 18 months while I was in prison. A lot of prisoners go to the residential drug program to get time off, but I had weapons mixed with my case, so I couldn't get the time off. But I still did the program because I knew what I wanted to do when I get out. So I went there and I learned about, you know, even though I grew up in the hood, you know, you think, you know, if you grow up around dope fiends, you know, even my mother fell victim for a while, and, you know, was a victim of the crack era and whatnot. And but she's doing amazing now. And but you know, I had went down there to learn about mannerisms, learn how to run programs, how to schedule cohorts and stuff of that nature, because I knew what I wanted to get out. But while I was there as well, I had got a job. And a lot of people, this is one of the first times I said this, people don't know that. So if you go to jail, prison, anywhere, you have to have a job. And my job was, I used to, when I was in Seagoville, Texas, moved from Lompoc, I used to watch the kids in the visitor room while their parents visited with whoever their visitor was. So just imagine, I'm like this big old buff dude. You know, I was real swole back then in prison. And I used to be like babysitting all these kids in the visitor room, you know, but I'm a big teddy bear though. You know, I love children, you know, playing these games, watching all these movies. I watched Cars like 1,000 times. You know what I mean? I love Cars. And, you know, so that kind of like kicked up that bug with the youth. And I've always, like, you know, always had a youthful spirit, because I was in and out of juvenile hall my whole teenage life. So I never really had a teenage experience. You know, I was in the streets, man, you know, selling drugs and packing guns and getting shot and shooting and fighting. And like, that's not a normal kid experience. I wasn't going to amusement parks and prom, never been to the proms or none of that kind of stuff, you know. So I still got a youthful spirit. So, you know, young people really resonate with me. So like when I got out, I was blessed, you know, to be able to volunteer at the Presidio Center, because, you know, I'm fresh out of prison, 10 years, big old swole dude. I didn't leave such a good taste in San Francisco's mouth when I left. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I wasn't the same person, you know, and I had did some work while I was in prison, but, you know, people still looking like, what are you about now? What you gonna do? Oh, you want to work with kids? Hell no, get your ass out. Like, you know what I mean? Like the last time I seen you, he was shooting at some dude. You know what I mean? So, you know, I tried to get hired at some places, couldn't get hired. But just as a tidbit for people, like if you really want to get on somewhere, man, volunteer. Valentina and Joe and Gloria over at the Presida Center in San Francisco. You guys don't know about it. But I told them what I wanted to do, and I told them, I said, just let me volunteer. So I volunteered for a month straight. They saw how well the kids resonated with me. I stepped in and supported Joe, who was running the after school program. And then, you know, after a month, then they just hired me. And I was working there as an after school program with the youth, just learning the nonprofit game. And I seen a lot of stuff. Then I got promoted to a case manager, a home detention case manager and stuff of that nature. And then they went through some transitions. And then, you know, I ended up going to another major nonprofit called United Players, working with the great Rudy Corpus, who is like a monster powerhouse in this violence prevention nonprofit youth development game. And I was over there under his tutelage for about 4 years, you know, and then I had went to work with the mayor for a little while. You know, she was a district supervisor at the time, running for mayor, seeing all that stuff. But I've seen a lot of different things, and I volunteered a lot of different places to support. Even now, on the board for the City Eats, which, you know, we feed the homeless every first Saturday of the month, and we do another event in the middle of the month. And I've been doing that for over 8 years. But I see the struggle in some nonprofits and stuff of that nature. I was gonna talk about why I started Hard Purpose, but that's how Us for Us developed. I wasn't with United Players anymore. They're doing great work, but they serve a certain demographic, and I seen that, you know, some more help was needed. There's never enough of that. Like you can never have too many nonprofit organizations giving back to the community. And I wanted to do my part as a leader of one. We do a lot of things, but one of the main components, things that we do, is support other nonprofits, because I see a lot of nonprofits don't be having the support, or they don't have the people cultivating skills that I'm blessed with. You know what I mean? Rudy does. Rudy has an army, but it's a lot of people like who are doing good, like they want to do good stuff, but they don't know how to get the people, or, you know, stuff of that nature. Like the City Eats, my guy Kaim, who started it, he's from Los Angeles. He's not even from the Bay, but they moved up here. You know, he moved away because he wanted to start his family, get away from stuff, but he wanted to give back. But, you know, he didn't know that many people in the Bay, and I do. And, you know, he was going through some stuff, so we teamed up, and then we just blew up the City Eats like that. So, you know, that's how Us for Us was formulated. I just, you know, got with the youth and, like, you know, what we gonna do, how you want to do it. Because it's really, really youth led. Like, you can talk to my young people. I take direction from them. I just have the connections. You know, I'm older. You know, a lot of older people don't respect young people. They think they're the problem and all this and all of that, and don't think they have good ideas, but they actually do have great ideas. They just have to be fine tuned and led with some direction. So 90% of the stuff you see is from the youth. I just put it in action. You know, we did a Stop the Violence Peace rally yesterday, and, you know, we had just did one maybe like a month ago, but the kids were like, let's do another one. One of my main youth, Samantha, just turned 17 on Tuesday. What you want to do? Let's do a peace rally. I want to give back. I want to, you know, that's the type of stuff we cultivated. So we just was out there. I'm blessed to be teamed up with Mobilized Love, which is a mobile food truck that gives to the people. You know, I got funded from the CARE organization, another organization who came across me because I had got the People's Champ Award. That's why they call me Uncle Damien, the People's Champ. I got that from Breakout. Breakout Foundation is a foundation that champions change makers, people like myself all over the world. You know, so they had I don't call myself the People's Champ. They had a contest, and everybody voted for me from here to Chicago. So it was a blessing, you know, in that. And, you know, Us for Us was kind of born, and we just been pushing and moving, man. Fiscally sponsored from Paris and Renaissance Success. Got some great partnerships, you know what I mean? Not no funding, but, you know, get some grants to support some other things. We'll just flow straight through, but we're pushing, man, all off the muscle, you know. That's kind of like how Us for Us got started.
And how long has it been in existence?
Us for Us?
Yeah.
It's I mean,
just
say
a quick number.
I could say from when I got home, but let's say officially 2 years.
Okay. So
we really got, when the pandemic kicked up, I'm a single dude. Like I said, my daughter is grown. I really didn't have no restrictions around COVID, and I had a bunch of people who had those same kind of things. I had some young, strong people who weren't afraid. A lot of people had to go inside, and we really stepped up, and that's when we really started to shine, because people saw, like, because there was less people doing stuff, and we been doing this stuff, but now you can see more, because it's like the smoke is cleared a little bit. You can see, like, oh, these are people that's really doing some stuff, and we were pushing hard through the pandemic. Feeding seniors, feeding the homeless, feeding communities. Doing community cleanups. Still stop the violence, because the pandemic started, the violence didn't stop. It might have got worse. So we stepped up. Face masks, hand sanitizer, teamed up with other great people who weren't afraid to come outside and do the thing. So we could say officially 2 years.
I think with the video I saw of you, Uncle Damien, it was actually a bunch of young people who were with you doing all of those things. So I think it's amazing how
because I got that young spirit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got some seniors though. Shout out to my seniors and my grown people. I got a beautiful army.
And what I've been told is, a lot of people go into the cannabis space to make for themselves first, and then they give back to the community. I think what's really beautiful about your brand, and we'll get into it right now, is you decided to create this brand in order to help all of the programs that you're already doing for the community. So let's talk a little bit about, like, what made you decide to get into the regulated market,
and add some new ones too. Like I had already been working with some people, and some nonprofits are still scary and finicky because they get funding. So it's like, oh, we can't be affiliated with a cannabis company and all that kind of stuff, which is, to each his own. But and it's like we tapped in with a mask in a bag with the seniors. We donate to the seniors so they can get these materials. They make these materials so that they can and they sell these masks so they can sustain themselves, and they feed the homeless with them. So we're gonna get these away. You got whoever's on there, DM me, High Purpose Lifestyle. First 2 people, I'm gonna get free masks from the seniors. I got you. Whenever you see this. But to get in, like I said earlier, I was highly recommended to be part of the social equity program in my city, and so I was like, if I'm going to do that, then I'm gonna go all the way. And I started understanding and learning, and shout out to Mama Angie over at the Success Center, who is great, with giving information to social equity applicants, and really learn that I could create a business that I can make some real money to support the people. And like I said, that's always what's on my mind. That's just who I am now. It's like when I was growing up, one of my mentors, Jack Jackal, the great Jack Jackal from Omega Boys Club, used to say I used to have the hood disease, because it's like for some reason I just couldn't stay out the streets. I couldn't stay out the hood. Once I got bit with the bug, and once I caught the first cases, I just was always in the streets. But now I got like another type of beautiful blessing where it's just always community and people first in my mind. So that's all I was thinking. Like when they was talking about this stuff, I was just thinking in my mind, like, how can I use this to help the people, help the community, and I have to be strong and I have to stand on it. I've always been a cannabis activist, per se, not as hard as I am now because it's a little bit more, lenient. I was in a position being on probation and parole for 28 years that I couldn't be as vocal about certain things, but now I'm not on probation or parole. There's more, more of a platform like these for me to speak out and express myself without being penalized. So that's what's happening. And, we're moving forward, we're pushing hard.
So what I'm really interested in is, like Lulu said, it's amazing that you started with being a man of the people first and then marijuana. right?
Right.
But what's really interesting to me is how you actually got your business up and running. So other people have been, really focused on the marijuana business, the cannabis business, whether in the underground or learning the legal markets. And then they take those skills and flip them into a business. You're a person of the people that now went to go get a license, but now you had to learn the cannabis business. So can you just talk to me first about like, how you literally got your license? Like what was the process like? And then B, how did you learn the cannabis business?
So the license process is definitely a strenuous one, bro. It's definitely have to be patient. Like I'm sitting here talking to you now, but we started this process 4 years ago. Let me, I turned 3-4 years ago. Started filling out that paperwork and going through all of this stuff, and I have to give credit to my team, man. I got an amazing team, Johnny, Q, Connor, Joe, the Free Goal Watch team, Matt and Marty. Just phenomenal people who got a lot more patience than I do. You know what I mean? And it was just really just like a waiting game and staying strong and staying vigilant and having good partners, man. Having good partners as far as that's concerned. I will be opening up my dispensary this year. You know what I mean? God willing. COVID has pushed a lot of things back. I was trying to be open for 420, but didn't happen, obviously. So yeah, just a lot of patience, man, and just the paperwork, going through it, getting up early, being on top of it, email after email, communicating with the community, communicating with the right people in the right places, and things are, still rolling, So I'm just hopeful, about just the industry as a whole, and so yeah, man, it's been like 4 years in the making. So just sticking with it, just going through the paperwork, and then learning the business. I've always been kind of like an entrepreneur type of individual, so I got a general sense of business. I took a couple classes while I was in prison, some business classes and stuff of that nature. So I had a general understanding of it. But like I said, again, man, shout out to the Success Center. Shout out to Amsterdam. You know what I mean? I learned a lot. Y'all remember them business classes they was talking about? I still got my notes somewhere around here. I got some on this phone too, and just, pushing forward, man. I got a lot of willpower. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of willpower, I got a lot of gumption, I got a lot of handle my business ism in me. A lot of the people you talk to who say they are maybe having struggles, man, I promise you they being lazy too as well, a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, just handle your business. Like it's regulation, it's red tape, it's bureaucracy. We live in America. You know how it goes. If you don't got a lot of money, shit's going to be a little bit harder. It's not fair, but it is what it is. So you got to stick to it. You got to handle your business. You got to do what you got to do. You got to, you know what I'm saying? Got to be bagging up samples of your new sample, violence prevention coming up. You know what I mean? You got to put the stickers on there. You got to, you know what I mean? Make sure all your business stuff is handled. You got to tap in with the pro bono lawyers. You know what I'm saying? You got to push through. You got to really want it, bro. That's the only thing I could say, because it's a lot of barriers, but if an individual like myself can get through and do it, then anybody can. There's no excuse. Rick Ross has his own shit, and he did like 20-some years. He was a kingpin. That's the name of his shit. Kingpin's a shameless plug. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tap in with him, but you know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of people, who should be here, but they think shouldn't be here, who is here and making it happen. So if, like I said before, if I could do it, anybody could do it. You just got to really want it, man. Got to work hard too.
Yeah, most def. I know that the grit, just the hard work, just the patience, all these things you said are essential. But one other piece that we all know is essential is straight up cash. It's money, right? It's the capital to get up and running. So was anything interesting about how you guys were able to fund your business, or how were you guys able to get enough money to actually get up and running?
grinding, man. I work 2, 3 jobs. You know what I mean? I'm blessed that people want to hear what I have to say from time to time. So, I'm a speaker. I get paid to speak from time to time. So I just, you know, investing in myself and having people who believe in me, investing in my vision and what we're trying to do, you know.
And Uncle Damien, you mentioned a
Mhm.
lot of names that helped you along the way for getting your
Mm.
license. What were
Right.
their role? What were their roles? I think you mentioned pro bono attorneys. What were some of the other types of people that were necessary to help you with this license?
People who uh, I was blessed that I teamed up with some people who were already trying to open dispensaries or was close to it, so they had some knowledge of it already. Um, so you definitely have to have someone that's good with construction and architectural, depending on your place. And I'm talking about my retail store right now, so because my retail store and my brand is two different things. You know what I mean? Definitely got to have someone that is familiar with financing and someone that is familiar with regulations, especially around cannabis and city governance and stuff of that nature. So and just having someone that you can trust, mainly having these people around you that could trust, because it gets heavy. The stuff gets heavy. There's a lot of quote unquote money in play. So you got to be able to trust these people. Got to be able to have somebody on the side. I have my team. When we're together, we have a lawyer together. Got to have a lawyer, but I also have my own lawyer on the side to help keep me in check, keep everything is on. There's a lot of reading and it's a lot of big words, that gets tossed around and stuff of that nature. So having a good finance person, somebody that's good with the regulation and the governance, and someone that's good, construction and architectural. If you have to do a build out or a rebuild of anything of that nature, and definitely some good community liaisons, which I'm good at. We have one that's good, but I mean, when you got an individual like myself who's already deep in the community, that's not that hard. Personally for my brand, the marketing and advertising, which I do the majority of myself, and I have a beautiful team of ambassadors, who assist me. So yeah, definitely got to have a team, man. I don't know nobody that can do it all by themselves. I don't know nobody. Got to have great cultivators, great distro. Shout out to Locals Distro, you know what I mean, and Gumballs, you know what I mean. So yeah, got to have a great team.
And tell us a little bit. You mentioned that the retail store is different than your high purpose lifestyle brand. Tell
Mm-hmm.
us a little bit about the brand and the strain that you were holding up earlier. Stop the violence.
Oh man, violence prevention, actually, which is the third installment of my brands. I'm blessed. I have an eighth jar that's in about like 22 stores right now throughout California, the Bay Area and Southern California. It's Chocolatina's testing at 28%. It's killing the game. It's a great uh, blend, indica dominant, but it's got good sativa. I'm a indica guy, but sativa, because I like to be pumped up. I can be having stuff to do. I like to smoke and still be able to handle my business. You know what I mean? Unless it's like after hours, you know what I mean? Which that's where this violent prevention gonna come in at. But I also have these pre-rolls right now that's got a beautiful mix of the Chocolatina, Bigfoot Gelato, and Granimals that's testing at 22% by itself, which is a steal at stores, and it's selling out everywhere, just killing the game. And then I got this violence prevention that's going to be dropping soon. I don't know nobody else. I don't know. You guys went to some dispensaries. I don't know if you ever seen on the shelf anybody just, especially a cannabis brand, actively talking about stopping the violence and supporting the community. Everybody says it like, oh yeah, we're going to do something for the community too. But it's like, I'm putting it out there. Cannabis, weed, we know is popular right now. Weed is hella popular. on all type of levels. We see everything that's going on. So we have to infuse in the culture the give backness of it and just everything, like, you know, everything that's going on, man. We have to use cannabis to help push it because it's a peace plant. That's why the Native Americans used to call it the peace pipe. You know what I mean? So it's like, we got to have it. Violence prevention, which is going to be a beautiful Gelato 41 and Runts mix that I'm going to be having on shelves very, very soon.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
this chocolate, but this Chocolatina though, ain't no joke.
I was saying that's so on brand for you. I know that you do a buyback program for guns in the community, so I think it's cool that all your products.
We've done 9. We've got over 5,000 guns off the street. Shout out to Rudy Corbett. Shout out to United Players. All of the people. You know what I'm saying? You know, Moms Demand Action, the Paul Blady Foundation, everybody. And something that you guys might not know that a lot of people don't know, we try to put out there. The majority of the funds that we use for those buyback programs, $50,000 each time, 9 times, the majority of those funds come from the cannabis industry, come from cannabis dispensaries, the Green Door, Mo Green, stuff of that nature, you know, and some of my other partners, Barbie Coast, individuals who are giving back, and that's cannabis, giving back to the community. That's cannabis getting guns off the street. That's cannabis supporting violence prevention.
Yo, that's fire. That's just dope. That's all around dope. And to let that sit.
And it's real. And it's real,
man,
too.
I'm like in awe of the amazing stuff that you guys do. We have some questions from the audience. I know that Lulu
shout
and Peter probably still
out to the audience. Shout out to the audience, whoever's in there. You know what I'm saying? I just gave away, like I said, DM me, High Purpose Lifestyle on Instagram. The first 2 people I see on there, I'm gonna send you a free mask from the seniors who we sponsor. We donate money when you buy High Purpose Lifestyle. The proceeds go to things like that, and the things you see we doing with Us for Us, violence prevention rallies, supporting seniors, community cleanups, all those things of that nature.
Bro, you guys
for real,
really,
not for play, but for real.
Yeah, like you guys really walk the walk. Like it all started from all that. It's not like an afterthought. It's not like I'm gonna build my company up to tens of millions of dollars. Then I'll do a little donation. Right? Like, no, it's like
after you look at my big chain and my Rolex.
Yeah, it's authentic.
After I throw all these big parties that I charge you for, but I'm talking about it for the community. Out of here.
All right, I'm gonna hit the Q&A here. So
I just did a huge 420 event for free for the community, free for the vendors. I didn't charge the vendors to support them. You know what I mean? I pay for everything. Shout out to Local Distro, our business partner Luke. You know what I mean? We took care of everything. Shout out to MD Farms, Marie, my sister. We took care of everything for the people, man, so they could prosper. Didn't charge nobody anything.
I bet that was lit as shit too.
Super lit. I got the video coming soon.
All right, we're on the lookout. So from the audience, I got Sandy Jackson. Where is this business located? Where is this business located, and did that make a difference in getting started?
California, baby. You know what's up. California. Shout out to the East Coast. Shout out to all my new East Coast family. New York on down. I got love for y'all. Y'all just getting regulated. Y'all gonna be there though. But yeah, we started. I think it did make a difference. I mean, you know, is it prop? All those props. I get the props mixed up. 215, all of that. You know what I mean? You know, made it possible for us to push through. You know, made it possible for us to push through, for us to team up with great distribution, great cultivators, and get some good flower to the people, man, from a good brand. And you know, a lot of people make great flower, man. Like, you know, I got this right here. Shout out Gold Seal and SF. Got some good flower. You know what I mean? But my thing is really like, you know, everybody's making good flower. So then what do you do? Like, okay, everybody's weed is good. Then what's the next level? Good people, man. Got good people, man. People over products, man. Community over coins. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the kind of community, man. Shout out to Lay, you know what I mean, who coined that phrase for me, one of my amazing brand ambassadors. You know, But a lot of people got good flower. So like you make a decision. If you're gonna get high with a purpose. Get back buzz. That's why I call high purpose. In case y'all was wondering why I called it high purpose. I get high with a purpose, man. Don't just get high just to, you know what I mean? Support the community, man. I feel better when I smoke high purpose because I know that every time I exhale, somebody might be getting a blessing. You know what I mean? That's just me though, you know.
So I have another question for you. Someone asked, let's see, why should folks pay at legal San Francisco dispensaries where prices are sometimes 2 to 3 times more?
Why should they? For one, like I just said, because every time you exhale, you might be giving somebody a blessing. That's if you purchase high purpose. All them other brands, I don't know. That's for you to decide for yourself, you know. And you know, we keep it real. Where else you gonna go? To the block? Everybody can't go to the block and get no weed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't got a weed man. Everybody don't, you know what I mean? Some people really, really care about themselves and want to know what's going in their weed, man. It's mandatory in the regulated industry that they do test this stuff. They got to test it. You got to know what's in it. You got to know if it's safe. They got to run it through. You know what I mean? That's like asking somebody, why don't you just buy meat off the street? Why are you going to go to the meat market? Why don't I just like, you know what I mean? I got cows in my backyard. Here you go. Cut them up and give them to you. It's cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but to each his own, man. I don't knock nobody. It's enough for everybody. You know what I mean? If you don't want to, don't do it. But don't yuck somebody else's yum because that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of people want to do it because this store is popping up all the time. I see lines all the time. So, you know, you can go to the street and maybe get some weed. You don't know what you might be getting. You know what I mean? I sold parsley hella times to people. I didn't, you know, I'm not happy about it. You know what I mean? I wish I had some weed, didn't have no weed, fake, took people money, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, to each his own. But I suggest, you know, if you want to avoid problems, I know it costs a little bit more, but how much is your life, your peace, your patience worth? You know what I mean? That's like, I struggle with that all the time. Like, I'll be like going, especially in San Francisco, it's rough. Parking is rough. And I'd be seeing the parking lot, $25. I'll be like, $25? Man, the park? But I'd be like, if I get my window busted or my car stolen, how much is that going to cost? So, you know, it's up to you, man.
And I think also, you know, as a consumer, you should be empowered to research the brands that you buy from. And if you buy from High Purpose Lifestyle, you know that it might be more expensive, but you're supporting community groups and actions that create a safer community, and are helping a lot of other groups. So,
High Purpose in relation to the other brands is not that expensive. You know what I mean? It might be more expensive than buying an eighth on the street, but compared to the other brands that's in dispensaries, it's very affordable. You know what I mean? It's very affordable for your money. You know what I'm saying? I think my pre-rolls is retailing at like $11 in stores. You know what I'm saying? 1 gram full flower pre-rolls. You get Bigfoot gelato, granimals, and chocolatina. I promise you, you would never complain about none of my products ever. I'm waiting for a complaint. Been selling out all over the place. God is good.
Yo, I don't know if you can see the chat, but they're showing you love. They appreciate you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate all y'all. I'm back here so y'all can see my whole ambiance and feel me. I can't see the chat, but whatever it is, man. Peace and love. DM me, High Purpose Lifestyle. I'm not hard to find. You know what I mean? I'm right here for the people, man. Any questions, anything I can help with, you know, getting through the industry, anytime I can connect you with somebody, cultivators, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, man. I take my brand ambassadors down to the farms every month. They come to the distro so they can learn. I try to get them to be sales associates, try to get them to get their own brand so that they can flourish and be on their own. I'm not keeping this to myself, man. This is a plant that was blessed to us to share with all the people, give back, man. Do your history, look through history, how this plant has been used to help people all over the world throughout history for billions of gajillion years. I don't even know if we've been around gajillion years, but You know what I mean? So
We have one more question. Someone asked, how do you think legalization in Mexico will soon happen affect your retail business and or brand? I think I'm going to jump on that, Unc, because I'm actually in Mexico, been in Mexico for the past year, and has been watching how it's been unfolding. And Kenneth, until there is, I guess, cross-border country import export, I don't think that Mexico is going to be affecting the US as in the near future. What we've been told is all of the licenses have actually already been given out, and they will be going out specifically to in more of an industrial nature. So folks who have businesses in, you know, tequila and airlines, it's going to be going out to the wealthy. I know that I've seen people sending me things about how, oh, 40% of licenses are going to be going to the indigenous people of Mexico. I think that's great in rhetoric, but who will be backing those indigenous folks if that is what is going to be?
Like your boy just said, they don't got no money, so what they're gonna do?
So, so I think
Gotta go
yes, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, but there is also going to be a lot of existing industries and potentially cartels who will be, you know, playing. I mean, we have someone locally who is a delivery service, and their comment is, no, there's why would we become legal? Because we would be forced to sell cartel weed, and that's not something that we want to do. So I hope that answers your question, Kenneth. we're keeping our eye out on Mexico.
So real quick, being that you know they asked me the question, you know, I'm gonna hop on it too briefly. You know what I mean? And my answer is similar to yours, but it's also, you know, no problem, because yo habla español mucho bueno, mucho hombres in Mexico. Feel me? I speak fluent Spanish. You know what I mean? Mucho hombres en la cárcel aprender yo. You know, so.
Dope.
But it is you know, potential for that to happen, you know, in Mexico. But you know, I'm Unc, so I got to keep it real. I told you I keep it real. The same thing is happening in America. Don't think that it's not, you know what I mean, going on out here too. It's some big companies, you know what I mean, that I feel like is owned by some mafias, you know what I mean, big government agencies, you know what I'm saying, stuff of that nature, because they're gonna capitalize as well, regardless. Even though the Fed's talking about, you know, it's not legal, I promise you, it's some federal stuff going on, because that's just the nature of America, capitalism. They seeing some green dollars regardless. You see Denver, they sales keep going up, talking about the money they making in tax and stuff of that nature. So the government is not going to be missing out, and, you know, and it's keep going state by state. And what we going to have, like 2-3 states? That's not what we're going to do. We're going to be looking there like, come on now, let's get this together. We got to nation this thing up. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be the United States of America. We're not really looking to unite it right now. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm pray for the people in Mexico, you know what I mean? And hopefully we can figure out some way to get it right, you know what I mean? But whatever happens, I just hope it to be righteous for the people who really need it, man, the grassroots individuals, you know, people like the delivery driver, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so look, we're almost at, or we are at time. Wow.
Man,
we're gonna wrap it up in just a minute here, but definitely gotta ask you one more question. You're doing a lot of great work. We have a much larger audience on the East Coast, but still,
shout out to the
we got
East
people
Coast
everywhere. What can we do to support what you're doing? Whether it's us for us, you know, high purpose. What can our audience and our viewers do to support the things you got going on, especially the people that aren't in California?
You know, follow your heart, first of all, wherever that may take you. If you know, it takes you to high purpose, you know, because that's what we're on here for. We're talking about cannabis initially, you know, if you're not in California and you can't purchase a product to support, you have some type of platform, share it, let somebody know who may be around. You never know when somebody might be coming through, and if my social work touches your heart through Us For Us, you can go check it out at usforus.Bay Area on Instagram. You know what I mean? Usforus.org. That's US, the number 4 US. You can donate there. You can check out the website, see what we've been doing. I got a lot of videos up there. You can check me out, Uncle Damien Speaks, on Instagram. I got a lot of stuff going on, man. You can't, so, just follow your heart, man. I'm appreciative for you. And if it ain't nothing but a prayer, pray for me as, all I'm trying to do is, spread more love, to cancel out some of this hate, that's going on all around the world. I live in San Francisco, California, primarily in the Bayview Hunters Point district, which is primarily African-American people of color. The violence rises and falls, but it rises more than it falls, but it can pale in comparison to other places like we're talking about, like in Mexico, and other places. I'm definitely sympathetic to that, but this is where I'm at, what I mean? And then a lot's going on, here. So it's like, maybe we could, if we start here or start wherever and spreads, got to do something, got to keep up the fight, because we can't let the devil win. We can't let hate win. We can't let bigotry, racism win. We got to fight. We got to keep, what I mean? That's why, I believe I'm here. That's my journey, and I represent and I stand up for people some who can't, or feel like they can, or feel like they're not empowered. I mean? I want to empower you. I want to be your champion, what I'm saying? In my space, and do it humbly, and just keep fighting, man, to show these youth, something that I wasn't shown when I was growing up. I've been shot 5 times. I did 10 years in prison, but now I go into juvenile hall every week and try to mentor the young boys, what I mean, to not go that route, what I mean? And, cannabis is medicine. We were lied to. Like I said, gotta go look up Grass is Greener, man. They made all this stuff, because they didn't want to see people of color have some proper funds. A lot of stuff that other people were told about cannabis was a lie. So we're changing it back. This is an opportunity. This is just like, I could be selling Snapple. I could be selling, anything, what I mean? But this avenue was placed in my way, I believe, by divine, what I mean? So I'm taking advantage of that, and I'm trying to help the community with it as best as possible. Got violence prevention coming soon. It's right on the name. It's like, I can't be playing no games. High purpose, get high with a purpose. If you're going to consume cannabis, the give back buzz. That's what I'm going to do. Buds give back. These buds give back. You know what I mean? And we equity straight from the people. You know what I mean? Shout out to Lola's Grow. You know what I mean? The people of color, Black people over there growing fireweed. You know what I'm saying? But it don't even matter, man, because I support all people. You know what I mean? But it does matter to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Because we got to show each other love, man. But I got, a little bit of everybody, you know what I mean, in my camp. So it's love to each and every person that is out there. You know what I mean? Like I said before, man, tap in with me. High Purpose Lifestyle, Instagram, you know what I mean? Email, website. We got all kind of merch on there. You know what I mean? You can go through there, support, order you something. You know what I mean? You can be representing wherever you at. Get you a hoodie, a High Purpose hoodie. You know what I mean? A mug. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, man. And, and then know in your heart that it's going to the people for sure.
Wow. All right, bro. I gotta say, really appreciate your time.
No, thank you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to my guy Sebastian who hooked this up, man. Shout out to Cal Street Cannabis, my guy Jakari over there. He's a beast from the East. I love that dude. It's my nephew. That whole team, Ben and Duncan. I love them. They're my 2 white daddies. They know what's up. You know what I mean? Shout out to you and Lulu, man, for believing in, you know what I mean? Young Black soldier out there trying to make it happen for the people, man.
Hey, man, we just following our hearts, finding the people we think are really killing the game, and
that's what you do. Our community. If you follow your heart, well, you'll never lose if you follow your heart. You'll never lose if you follow your heart. I promise you that.
We appreciate you. All right, guys, we're about to wrap it up. But before we do, once again, thank you. Next month, we're going to be talking about marijuana mamas. We have Mother's Day coming up. Cannabis is a
Marijuana
difficult
mamas.
issue. Yeah,
I'm watching that.
We got the moms coming. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And the Dope People team has some things launching next month. We want you guys to be a part of it. So stay tuned with everything. Go copy some nonviolence. Stop the violence. Make it
Violence
happen.
prevention.
Violence prevention. There we go.
I'm gonna get you some samples in type of way.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we talking. I'll come out there. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Give it to Lulu when she
come.
come. Give it to Lulu when she come volunteers with us.
I'll make sure Jacoby gets it. Thank you, Uncle Damien. Thank you, everyone.
No, thank you, guys.
And we'll see everyone next month, starting Wednesday. We change dates to Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Okay, Wednesday. So, make sure y'all check in on a Wednesday.
All right,
Oscar. Saw you, bro.